So today we're diving into this fascinating practice known as negative visualization, which, yeah, really challenges us to think about what could go wrong in our lives.
Right, negative visualization or premeditatio malorum, if I'm not mistaken, is all about imagining those worst case scenarios to build up mental resilience, right?
Exactly. And it's like doing a mental dry run of potential adversities. By picturing things like losing possessions or relationships, you cultivate gratitude for what you have and prepare yourself emotionally.
Yep, it's intriguing because at first glance it kind of sounds negative in every sense, but the whole point is to actually empower you, isn't it?
Right, right. It's actually not meant to make you pessimistic. It's more like um, training your mind to handle real life misfortunes so your reactions can be controlled and wise rather than uh, impulsive.
And that fits perfectly with the Stoic ideals, like focusing on what you can control, correct?
Yep, it's deeply connected to the Stoic idea that external events are indifferent. They're neither good nor bad by themselves. It's all about the response that you have.
So the Stoics used it as a way to keep on track with their virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance.
Exactly, yeah. They would practice this exercise to ensure that, say, if something drastic happened, they'd still be able to um, maintain equanimity and behave virtuously.
It's really like preparing for an emergency by mentally rehearsing how you'll handle it, isn't it?
Right.
Like a mental vaccine, if you will.
Yeah, it's like training your mind the same way your body might use a vaccine to build immunity before an attack. You prepare for the blow before you actually face it.
And the beauty of it is that by imagining these scenarios, you actually end up appreciating what you've got so much more, right?
Absolutely. When you visualize losing something important, whether it's your health, your loved ones, or even your material possessions, you start to see how precious those things really are.
But doesn't it run the risk of making people overly anxious about the future? It might, induce fear rather than reduce it.
A good point. But that's where the Stoic twist comes into play. They argued that by coming to terms with what can happen, you actually diminish the shock factor. So instead of letting surprises shake you up, you're steadily prepared.
I guess it's a bit like rehearsing an emergency drill. Sure, it might feel uncomfortable for a moment, but when the real thing happens, you know what to do.
Exactly, exactly. And this practice even extends to contemplating your own mortality. Imagine, for instance, actively reflecting on death, not morbidly, but to accept life's impermanence.
That part always struck me as fascinating. I mean, to think rather than ignoring death. Embracing it as a natural part of life can help you live more fully, huh?
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow at first, but when you live as if today might be your last, you reframe even the simplest activities. You start to savor every moment.
That's so true. And it really underscores that notion of everything being temporary, even relationships and our material belongings.
Right. Everything is seen as borrowed. Your car, your family, even your own body. They're all on loan from fortune, as the Stoics would say. It forces you to appreciate the time you have.
And it definitely changes your approach to routine worry. Like if you know that nothing is guaranteed, you're more likely to cherish the present.
Precisely. And it's really about desensitizing you to, well, the negative shocks. Because if you're too rarely hit by surprises, you're not as paralyzed by fear when misfortune strikes.
So, in a way, you're vaccinating yourself against the emotional impact of future setbacks.
Absolutely. Just as a vaccine helps your body laugh off diseases, negative visualization helps your mind prepare apt responses to the inevitable setbacks. It's a kind of psychological prep.
I also find it interesting that even though you're imagining the worst, you ultimately build up an optimistic outlook. It sounds paradoxical, doesn't it?
It does seem counterintuitive at first, but think of it as it's like acknowledging that the worst is possible and then realizing that nothing really is as catastrophic because you're prepared. Hence, the glass is half full.
That's an interesting twist on optimism. Rather than blindly hoping for the best, you recognize the potential for the worst and, in doing so, value the good even more.
Exactly, exactly. And it's worth noting how the Stoics would routinely go through this exercise every day, sometimes in the morning, sometimes before bed, to keep their minds sharp and their emotions balanced.
I like that idea, sort of making it part of your daily routine, like brushing your teeth, but for your mental health.
Right, it's like mental hygiene. One of the Stoic bigwigs, Marcus Aurelius, even prepared himself every morning for encountering difficult people, reminding himself that each person could be meddling, ungrateful, or even jealous.
That's quite a robust approach, but I wonder, isn't there a risk that such constant negativity might seep into everyday optimism? I mean, could it become a self fulfilling prophecy?
I see what you mean, but the Stoics were quite deliberate about it. Their emphasis wasn't on dwelling in negativity, but rather on fostering calm and rational responses.
Right.
It's more about training than pessimism.
So, it's not an excuse to expect bad things to happen, but rather to be better equipped if they do?
Exactly. And by routinely engaging in negative visualization, you build what's sometimes called psychological resilience. You become less likely to be shocked and overwhelmed when rough times hit.
It's almost like building mental muscles. You strengthen your mindset so that adversity, if it comes, is no match for your reaction.
Right, like training for a marathon, but for your emotions. Each session, each reflection makes you more mentally agile.
And by imagining all these misfortunes, you inherently gain a deeper appreciation for what you have. It's a bit like savoring food after fasting, don't you think?
Yeah, like you get so aware of the value of what's present in your life that even small joys feel amplified. It really transforms your outlook.
So essentially, negative visualization is like a super tool for cultivating gratitude, preparedness, and overall mental strength. It does, however, require a delicate balance to ensure it stays healthy and doesn't tip into constant dread.
Precisely. It really is all about striking that balance, acknowledging that yes, bad things might happen, but also recognizing that what you have is invaluable and that you can handle whatever comes. It's a mental workout that pays
Yeah,
dividends in resilience.
In the end, it's such an empowering exercise, one that reminds us that our reactions define our experience rather than the events themselves.
Absolutely, and it's a reminder to live fully in the present while being realistically prepared for the future. This kind of mindset helps us navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease.
I'm definitely inspired to integrate a bit of negative visualization into my routine. Not to dwell in gloom, but to appreciate and prepare.
That's exactly the point. It's a tough habit to start with, but over time it builds a remarkable inner strength, making you less vulnerable and more mindful every day.
Well, thanks for breaking that down. It's amazing how something that sounds so negative can actually turn out to be a powerful ally in building a resilient and grateful life.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's like training for life's unexpected hurdles by anticipating them and not being caught off guard.
Yeah,
It really reshapes your perspective.
Here's to building mental strength, one challenging thought at a time.
Cheers to that.